Howdy ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video sending out a lot of love. This is how great jump scares are made in horror movies versus bad jump scares, Movie Insider. So shout out to Insider, because I don't know if they take down videos, but you know what, it's okay, because they're not going to take down this one, I'm confident. But if you enjoyed the video, subscribe or share it with your friends, and as always, sending out a lot of love and on the road to 500,000 subscribers. But the first comment on this video, right, had me weak. I was dying when I read this before I even decided to shoot this one. It was the worst, best jump scares. For me, have to be the quiet ones where it's not super obvious and you just slowly notice something in the background that just makes your whole body do a screenshot. Alright, let's check this out. Let's see what's up for this.
This is the reveal of the witch in 2013.
I'm not gonna lie, that almost just roasted me. I gotta run it back. This almost roasted me right here.
This is the reveal of the witch in 2013's The Conjuring. Compare that.
See, and the only problem with that jump scare was they showed her first. That never gets me. If they show the thing first, then play the jump scare, it's like, ah, nah, it's weak.
That to this reveal of Jason in Jason Takes Manhattan. The first one is much scarier, but don't just take my word for it. Jason has certainly had his scary moments, but one of the main reasons Jason Takes Manhattan is ranked so low is because it doesn't follow the rules for making a movie scary.
That's the, hold on, that's the set. Breadcrumbs, build up, misdirection, limited view, sting, and threat. That's a formula they follow?
And while there's no exact formula, there are certain time-tested secrets you can include to create a truly terrifying jump scare. According to this woman,
my students kind of jokingly know me as Dr. Horror,
who has a PhD in horror.
So jump scares are based on kind of a theory of what fear is. Fear is kind of the buildup. It's the time in between when you think something might happen to when it actually happens.
You can usually tell when a jump scare is about to happen.
Of course they're gonna throw Lights Out on this list, bro. Lights Out is fucking insane, bro. Scary as shit, man.
Lighting dims, the editing slows down, things might start moving by themselves, and the music gets, well, creepy.
So are those technically like the breadcrumbs? Are those the breadcrumbs? They're giving you like little bits and pieces.
But those are the more obvious clues. So what is the first thing that helps build to a jump scare?
I call it breadcrumbs. You get some type of indication that something scary may be likely to happen. The closet door opens slightly. We see a window open. There's a weird noise coming from the corner.
There are a few famous audio examples of this from classic horror. In the Friday the 13th series, you know something bad is about to happen when you hear Jason's
Oh.
Or when you hear the famous
Oh, for Jaws.
in Jaws. But the breadcrumbs we're talking about are often more subtle, like in this scene from the 2002 film Below. The character's reflection starts to lag in the mirror, so you begin to get that feeling that something is very wrong and that something even more scary is about to happen. Now let's take a look back at that wardrobe scene in The Conjuring. There are several breadcrumbs that lead us to the final witch scare. We first have the sound of the closet door banging. Then the visual of the girl walking in her sleep.
Cindy?
Notice the camera hardly moves, and the wardrobe never leaves the wide shot. And then we get the sound of even more banging. Only this time, the girl is back in her bed, so we know it's not her anymore. Cue the creepy music. Each breadcrumb raises our level of anxiety a little bit more, like a balloon gradually getting more inflated until it finally pops. There are no specific breadcrumbs in the Jason Takes Manhattan scene. And in fact, we don't even hear the classic ki 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 ma 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 until after we know Jason is already right behind them. Once we see and hear these clues, that doesn't mean the scare is gonna come right away. In fact, for most great jump scares, the opposite is true. You have to make the viewer wait by dragging out the scene until the tension is too much to...
I remember when they like recreated this jump scare in Scary Movie, but I never actually watched Sinister on my own. And bro, that annihilated me. See, those are the jump scares. See, that comment had it right, but those are the jump scares that are fucking horrible, man. Where there is no audio, no nothing, but they show you the scary thing, and then that shit is right in the frame of the camera, bro. That's why Lights Out sent me.
You have to make the viewer wait by dragging out the scene until the tension is too much to bear.
Nah, bro.
Alfred Hitchcock famously said, "There is no terror in the bang, only in the anticipation of it."
Once the gun is fired, the fear's done. It's over with. There's nothing left to be scared of.
True.
Once the gun is fired, the scene is over.
An effective jump scare can take time, even the majority of the movie in some cases. But if done right, the payoff will be well worth it. One great example of buildup is this nurse station scene in The Exorcist 3.
I get it. So some are letting off a shot like a Barrett 50 cal, and then some are letting off a shot like a water gun. I understand the what they're saying.
Camera doesn't move at all for about 3 minutes, while nurses and security guards shuffle around. We know something is about to happen. We just don't know when, and it takes its time to get there. This scene in Insidious is another great example of building tension. Only instead of a single shot, we alternate back and forth between two characters for an extended period of time. The conversation goes on for about 2 minutes before the demon finally appears. And even though we know something is about to happen, when it does, we're caught off guard.
Yeah, nah, not gonna lie. Yeah, that's...
in The Conjuring.
I watched that recently too, like maybe a month ago. That scene, I'm not gonna lie, they did that well, to me.
Takes place over about 2 minutes after the first breadcrumb. Director James Wan lets the scene play out very slowly with a creeping sense of dread. The scene in Jason Takes Manhattan is also long, about 2 minutes. But Jason is revealed so early on in the scene with no build-up, about 1 minute after it starts. So the only thing we're waiting for is for the couple to see him 30 seconds later. For us as the audience, there's no tension, no anxiety. It's during this period of build-up when the best horror movies will use a distraction to further amp up the tension.
Also not.
Think of this part like a magic trick. You're encouraged to look in one direction, while the real threat is happening elsewhere.
Oh, wow. Holy shit. So, I think I've definitely been caught by a couple of these. This is like a technique that some horror game indie horror game makers or horror game makers in general use, because some of these have caught me, but I notice I don't get caught by that much because I'm paying too much attention to the entire screen. Like, I'm looking everywhere anyways because I'm already fucking panicking out of sheer fear of watching this shit. So it's like these I never connect that they're trying to misdirect you, but that was obvious as fuck. Obviously, thanks to the red circle.
While the real threat is happening elsewhere.
That's crazy. I didn't think about how that
in this famous
makes your
scene
eyes...
in Jaws, we're distracted by the discovery of a tooth, and we're expecting to see a shark. Instead, we get a corpse.
Yeah.
In The Sixth Sense, when Cole and the audience is focusing on the closet, an arm shoots out from under the bed.
Yeah, that's cool.
One common and often overused form of misdirection is the mirror trope, where the protagonist opens a medicine cabinet, for example. Alone at first, when it shuts, something is standing behind them. Surprise! The technique was first used in Roman Polanski's 1965 film Repulsion, and can be found in numerous other films to this day.
Is that when is the bottom of the right Shaun of the Dead?
In The Conjuring, both the camera and girl are focused on the closet. We think something is inside of it, ready to jump out. But in reality, the threat is actually on top of the wardrobe. Jason takes Manhattan, doesn't even try to fool us at all. The main characters have a false sense of security.
It's over. Okay, I see. I see I'm over here messing up. I see the comparison between the Jason and the Manhattan thing, but I think it would have been better to not just only use this movie as a form of bad jump scare, but it helps you. I guess it gives you the idea of what bad jump scares are, but I'm pretty sure there's way many. I guess it's really like subjective to what happened, like depending on the person who watches it. Like this is a generally just bad jump scare, but using this as the only movie to show a bad jump scare and then show a bunch of other movies that kind of have better jumps, like they all really do. You know what? Okay, I'm trying to give this one some credit. No, they all had better jump scares, so it's like, why not show another one that's similarly bad as this one? I don't know.
But we, as the viewer, already know where the threat
We're
is
gonna
the
keep
entire
seeing.
time.
We're going to literally keep seeing this clip.
This brings us to another visual trick with jump scares, making the audience feel more anxious by limiting what they can see.
Anything that you can do to limit the character, and through that, the audience's frame of vision will always increase the anxiety and the scare of it.
That one is like so factual. It's like that moment where you're watching a horror movie, you're like, oh my god, just turn around, like, let me look, like, come on, because that's like, you know, that's the one that I witnessed the most, like, that they try to use as limiting your vision. That's the
There
worst.
are two ways of accomplishing this: camera and lighting. Let's take a look at lighting first. Some common tricks are to use a camera flash, like this scene in Mama, or a device like night vision goggles in The Descent to narrow the characters and our scope of vision. Notice how much of the scene is obscured in these shots.
Yeah.
We have very little space to feel safe.
Yeah.
All of these things have what we call in lighting a hard fall off, meaning there is a very sharp line between what you can see and what you can't see.
That being said, you can still have jump scares during the day, but these require a bigger build-up, as we mentioned earlier, for them to be effective. Just look at this terrifying moment in Mulholland Drive. We don't see the creature outside the diner until after an
Okay, so didn't finish Midsummer, but this scene they show, I did get here. This wasn't actually that scary.
Just look at this terrifying moment in active.
This one wouldn't. I guess that is the example of not just using the Jason clip. This scene wasn't that scary though.
Just look at this terrifying moment in Mulholland Drive. We don't see the creature outside the diner until after an entire 3-minute long buildup of conversation inside the diner. The Conjuring limited how much we can see by having only one small lamp by the bed in an otherwise dark room, far away from the wardrobe. Jason, on the other hand, is standing in a brightly lit Times Square, where the only time he's obscured is when two people pass in front of him. The other way to limit view is by using the camera.
It is very common in horror films to limit the character's kind of vision, their frame of reference, where they're looking through keyholes. They might be trapped in a closet and they're looking out.
Keyholes suck. Looking out the closet sucks.
Slats of a closet, and really kind of limit how much they can see. And with that, you are limiting how much the audience can see as well.
Oh,
let's take a look at this scene in The Shining. The camera is following Danny, so we as the audience can't see around the corners of the hall until he does, when it's too late.
Okay, wait, that is annoying. There we go.
Arbogast of the hall until he does, when it's too late. When Arbogast is walking up the steps in Psycho, the camera is focused on him. So we are also blind to what's around him
this is exactly
and what's
what I'm
about
talking
to happen.
about. Yeah.
It creates an added sense of anxiety in the viewer.
The tighter you are and the more confined you are and the less information.
Oh, they weren't good at horror in old school, were they? That did not. Oh man.
You have about the situation.
Oh,
that's when
what
it's
the?
confined you are, and the less information you have about the
What movie is this? This is Mama.
situation.
Bro, that's why that one's so fucked up. I seen that one also. Oh my gosh.
And the more confined you are and the less information.
I just remembered with the camera flash, bro. I was wondering why that one looks so familiar.
You have about
This one is a terrifying movie because, like, I don't know if the creature is CGI, but y'all just have to see it for yourself.
Situation. That's when it's scary.
That one is crazy.
And camera movements can also force you into areas you wouldn't normally choose to go.
Yeah.
If the closet is slightly open, the camera may start pushing into the darkness slightly.
Yeah.
The filmmaker is forcing you as the audience to get closer to
POV,
whether you want to
you're
or
about
not.
to get
Or
fucked.
sometimes the camera will hold perfectly still. And that in itself can be equally anxious because we're used to movement and cuts and things like that.
And when a scare finally appears, it's typically accompanied by a loud sound. The sound is known as a sting.
Oh,
A good
that's
example
cool.
of a sting can actually be heard in the opening credits of Insidious, a film that is full of effective jump scares.
Yeah.
The crash accentuates the moment we are supposed to be scared. There's certainly a sting when the witch appears in The Conjuring, accompanied by a camera push-in. And there's actually two in Jason Takes Manhattan. But these are both ineffective since we've already seen Jason. There's no peak moment of anxiety that is elevated by the sound. A sting can only work so well without a good build-up. There are numerous examples of this in horror films, where the jump scare and the loud sting come completely out of nowhere. Sure, you may be startled, but this fear won't last. Deep Blue Sea has a memorable jump scare with a sting, but there's no breadcrumb and no build-up.
Okay.
And so while the scene is certainly violent and unexpected, there's also no real fear after the shark eats him, and the absurdity of it all might just make you laugh instead. And after all of the work to build up this scare, instead.
Wait, look at the animation.
And after all of the work,
Nah, bro. It looks like it turned into RuneScape,
just
man.
make you
Look at
laugh
this.
instead. And after all of the work to build up this scare, the threat needs to hold up as well.
Oh.
The threat needs to hold up as well.
That would be crazy.
In a lot
That was like an untraditional type of mirror jump scare where the hand came through the shelves instead of the mirror.
as well.
That's insane.
In a lot of movies, the threat isn't real, but it can still make you jump.
Oh my gosh, the closet door's opening. We're getting closer, closer, closer. The music's swelling, the camera's pushing in, and then it's a cat.
Children of the Corn was creepy. I don't remember any wild jump scares in that. I just remember just how sucky it would be to be in that situation.
Cats have had more jump scares in horror history than any monster ever had.
Like in the Amityville Horror, when one just appears outside the window. One of the most famous fake scares, it's actually not a cat, was this bus in the 1942 film Cat People. In fact, this scene went on to inspire other filmmakers to mimic the fake scare and has become known as the Luton bus technique, named after the film's producer, Val Luton. Another famous example of this is the Pop-Tart scene in Silent Hill. While it might make you jump.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. I didn't know that was a technique. Oh, shit. Like, I didn't know it had an official name, but now it makes sense why they do the scenes like that. Those scenes be having me go, what? Why the hell did they just do that? But now I realized.
Silent Hill.
Oh, so they used it in unique ways. I was about to say, don't tell me I missed a bunch of movies where they just had a bus pull up out of nowhere and I didn't realize it. Yeah.
While it might make you jump, there's nothing terrifying about a Pop-Tart unless you have a gluten allergy. Horror movies are littered with these types of cheap scares,
Yeah, they
which
are
ultimately
cheap
hurt
scares,
the movie as a whole because they haven't been earned and don't move the story forward. The best way to use a jump scare is to not overuse it. Too many jump scares takes away from the impact of them, and sometimes you don't even need them at all. In fact, Best Picture winner The Silence of the Lambs doesn't even have one jump scare in the entire movie.
Oh,
And the classic
shit.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre only has two.
If you're just up here the whole time, you go flat. There's nowhere else to go. And so it's all about kind of, taking the audience on a roller coaster ride of hills and loops, but not trying to keep them suspended in the air the entire time.
And when a jump scare does work well, you'll know because you'll see it pop up again and again. Replicated
Oh
does work
yeah,
well.
I remember
You'll
this.
know because you'll see it pop up again and again.
Wait,
does
whoa.
work well.
Shock and Annabelle. So Shock was the older one, but Annabelle. Let me see. I'm gonna watch Shock again, and then I'm gonna watch the Annabelle one.
You'll know because you'll see it pop up again and again.
That was
When a jump scare
weird.
does work well, you'll know because you'll see it pop up again and again. Jump scare does work well, you'll know because you'll see it pop up again.
Yeah, I remember seeing the Annabelle one. Like, I remember seeing the clip of this. The Shock one is like, yeah, you can really tell which one is older. The Annabelle one was definitely done like, I
And when
feel
a
like a
jump
little
scare-
bit cooler. But yeah, what she said is facts.
Scare does work well.
It's just kind of like, it's just like video games. I think the funniest thing in video games recently, or not like horror game video games, but just a general thing that you see pop up is, if it works, was grappling hooks. There's fucking grappling hooks everywhere for the past year.
You'll know because you'll
2
see it
years,
pop
maybe.
up again and again. Replicated in newer films as a tribute to its original success and the work that went into crafting it.
Oh,
To its original success and the work that went into crafting it.
bruh, no. Bro, Halloween, that was way better than Exorcist.
Replicated in newer films as a tribute to its original success and the work that went into crafting it.
That was hell nah, bro. That shit was huge. Damn, bro. Wow, that was a ride. I enjoyed that so much. I love horror movies. Anyways, before I end this video, can we all agree that horror games are way worse than horror movies? It's just come on now. All right. Much love and moonlight, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.